Today, I've got a real treat for you. A detailed, in-depth case study about an awesome sales email written by myself that managed to take an already successful Kickstarter campaign and catapult it to a whole nother level. So at the end of the day, this project received funding in excess of $102,000 and managed to beat original projections by multiple times. Hi, I'm Shaba, founder of Game of Conversions, the place where online entrepreneurs learn how to convert casual leads into profitable and paying customers. And today, you're going to get an insider's look into crafting, writing, and strategizing a high converting email that will help you sell anything online, regardless of your industry, product, or niche. This will help you get more opens, clicks, and ultimately more sales. Watch this case study because you're gonna love it. Okay guys, here we are inside the email case study, and before I dissect the whole email, I just want two quick mentions here. First of all, before you write any email, you should have a strategic campaign already laid out. And you should know the pains, fears, hopes, and dreams of your audience, because otherwise you won't really know what to tell them in a way that will be effective. The second thing is that you should already have an email list. And in this particular case, I was working for a client and he had an email list of 900 people, which isn't much, but this also shows you the power of email marketing, that you are able to generate serious money off of small lists as well. And with that being said, the full sales email is actually 1,000 words long. Check this out. If I scroll through it, it seems pretty long, but I just want to quickly point out that short copy isn't always the answer in emails. Especially if you're selling something with a little higher price point. If you're selling something for $20, maybe it can be okay, but this watch cost around $500. So in those cases, or in online courses, it's totally okay to have longer emails, and a long copy works wonders. But there are a few caveats here. First of all, you shouldn't unnecessarily inflate your copy. So if you have something to tell in so many words, then you need those words. But otherwise, if you're just inflating things, if you're just rumbling around, that won't be too good. So remember, long copy only works if you're able to hook the reader's attention, if you're able to connect with them emotionally and to describe that connection, to describe their problems, their fears, their pains. And then you also have to appeal to their desires and play up those desires. And finally, you have to properly ask for the sale as well. If you can do these, then long copy is definitely the answer for you. And with that being said, let's get to the first part of the email, which is basically the attention-grabbing subject line. And in this case, I chose something like this. Remember your grandfather? And this worked because, first of all, nobody uses this. I mean, who would send an email like that? Secondly, it will connect very nicely with the hook of the email. Because I integrated a little bit of story. This email is about a Swiss watch that my client wanted to sell through a Kickstarter campaign. And the whole image branding of the watch was that it's very masculine, it's bold, it's based on timeless quality standards, just like the grandfather of my client, who was basically a master watchmaker, and he had all these nice qualities that we admire even today. And using a subject line like this one really connects with that. And remember, the aim of the subject line is always to just basically grab attention and get people to open the email, nothing more. And as we move through it, you will notice that we have a powerful hook at the beginning of the email. So check this out. Hi, name. And obviously I want to personalize emails, but this is standard nowadays. Everyone personalizes them. So just make sure to not forget it. My grandfather was the hardest working person I knew. My head starts spinning just thinking about how relentless he was in his passion. Because when he dreamt of something, he didn't rest until he found a way to turn it into reality. quality, respect, and craftsmanship. He always kept saying, and rightfully so, because he was a proud descendant of a family of master watchmakers. Always trying to craft something based on Swiss heritage, he went to painstaking lengths to ensure that he gathered the highest quality raw materials that he could get his hands on. So, if somebody is on my client's email list and they open the email, chances are they're going to want to read this, and this hook is going to connect with them very powerfully from an emotional standpoint. And why? Because most likely, since we know our audience, these traits are resonating with them, with their own values in life: quality, respect, craftsmanship. Think about it for a second. If somebody wants to buy a Swiss watch, then they're going to be into quality, respect, and craftsmanship. And by creating a story of the grandfather of my client, we basically make a metaphor between the desires and the values of our ideal customers and the idealized values of a long-lost grandfather who was basically a master watchman. But also remember, I'm talking about them. Even though this is a story about a grandfather, everything that I talk about is based on what's important for my target audience, so what's in it for them. And try to always keep this up whenever you're writing an email, sales page, video, anything. So once we're done with the hook section, we're going to have a smooth transition. And this is very important, although most people neglect this, because obviously the goal of the email is to get people to buy the watch. But in order to buy the watch, you have to give them a compelling offer. But in order for them to read or be interested in your compelling offer, you want a hook that obviously grabs their attention. So the problem between the hook and the offer is that oftentimes this transition or lack of transition is very abrupt. And you don't want to do this because then it sounds cheap and it sounds aggressive. It sounds like, hey, you have a problem, buy my stuff. That's it. And you know, people want a little bit more, especially at this price point. So that's why we have the smooth transition. So check this out. Not surprisingly, I was always fascinated by his work ethic and deep belief in the need for character, integrity, and honesty. Again, all traits that I know that is important to my ideal customer base, who are basically rebel people who like to buy quality things that can last. But most importantly, they also want to stand out from the crowd. They want to be bold and they want to stand out. They want to seem unique. So let's continue. And I always try to live my life according to the same principles and to also run my business like I live my life with quality and respect. So this is basically a transition between the grandfather study to the mission of my client. In fact, you being an exclusive member of our club, know precisely that Rebel was born out of this vision as well. So observe again that I'm making a very subtle connection between the story of them, I mean the target customer being an insider, being an exclusive member, and the mission statement of the company. So, stepping into the shoes of my grandfather and never backing down, I created a brand that combines timeless heritage with a modern take on the masculine style with two objectives. And again, these objectives are very important to my target audience. Never forget this. Objective 1. I wanted to create a stunning, exclusive timepiece that are bold over boring and made to Swiss standards without breaking a bank. Objective 2. I wanted to fill a painful gap in what was offered on the market compared to what was needed for someone bold living on the edge, for the rebel man. So the brand name of the company is Rebel, and it's not surprising that they're targeting people who identify as being rebels. And this is very important because ultimately, whenever you want to sell something, you won't sell those things based on features or how cool they are. You will sell them based on what feelings those material things generate in the given person. You will sell them based on desires. You will sell them based on status, on how it will take someone from their current situation to their ideal situation. And with this transition that I did here, I made the very deliberate basically connection between the hook, between just getting their attention and getting them primed for something that will take them to their ideal situation. And once I did this transition, then I can transition to the irresistible offer. So check this out. And now, here we are. If you ever felt the same way about life, I have wonderful news for you. My childhood dream has been finally turned into reality, in no small part thanks to our fiercely loyal Rebel fans. And our ultimate watch, the Rebel Aquafin, got its very own successful Kickstarter campaign with over 187 backers and counting. So check this out. Not only am I building even more desire for the product, I also create a deliberate connection between the company and the product and the target audience by basically inviting them into the whole process. When I say in no small part thanks to our fiercely loyal Rebel fans, then people will feel a little fuzzy feeling inside, and this is also something that makes them buy something from you. And I also incorporate a little bit of social proofing, because I say we already have 187 buyers or backers, and this shows people that, oh, this is a serious project. This will have the potential to be something big, so maybe they also want to be a part of it. And then I basically just describe the main features and benefits of the watch itself. I highlight how it's Swiss made, how it's made of 316L stainless steel, which is a technical term, but it's important to this niche. What's the movement, what's the water resistance, but always be careful when describing these features and benefits not to go overboard with the features, because ultimately people are interested in benefits, not in features. And if you're asking yourself what's the difference between the two, I have a neat guide here. Basically, features are the blocks of what your product can do. These can be physical elements, characteristics, observable aspects, technical descriptions, size, or shape of the product. Now, on the other hand, benefits translate these features into actual benefits that personally affect your reader or make their lives better. So, for example, something that tastes good, something that gives satisfaction, something that allows fast and easy results, saves time or money, makes money, allows peace of mind, and so on. So, in this case, basically, the thing that it's Swiss made, it's a benefit because it automatically means quality. The fact that it's made of nice stainless steel is only a feature. In order to turn it into a benefit, I have to highlight that it's also robust. It's a beast. It's crafted of marine grade. So these things all contribute to the feeling of quality. Again, the fact that it has a Sellita SW200 automatic movement is a feature, but I also transition this into a benefit in the sense that I create a feeling of exclusivity, because other leading brands like Tissot or Hamilton or Tag Heuer also use this movement, and I know that my target audience knows about these brands. So by highlighting this, I automatically elevate the quality of this watch even higher. Again, the fact that it's water resistant, it's a feature, but the fact that it's a dive watch, it's not, because dive watches, the most famous dive watch is the Rolex Submariner, which was worn by James Bond, or another one is the Omega Seamaster Professional 300. These watches are iconic, and a lot of people actually know them, and even if they know them, they can recognize the Rolex's distinct shape, and they will automatically, again, associate coolness with it. The fact that it's scratch resistant is a benefit. The fact that it has a sapphire crystal dome front with AR coating, that's a feature. Now, I want to mention something unique in this email. Since my target audience are probably watch nerds and they know all these things, it's okay to use or to highlight more features as well, because for them, features kind of act like benefits as well. However, for regular products or whenever you're selling anything, usually it's best to highlight more benefits than features, because those people, they just want the end result. It's like people don't buy a hammer because they want to hammer a nail into the wall. They just want a hole in the wall. And the hammer is just a tool that takes them from their current situation, which is not having a hole in the wall, to their ideal situation, which is basically having a hole in the wall so they can put on their favorite painting, so that they can feel good about themselves. Can you feel the difference? Good. So getting back to the email, at the end of these bullets, I also do one more thing to build a little bit even more desire. And I say that, but above all else, the limited edition exclusive Rebel Aquafin symbolizes self-confidence and badass style, speaking to the inner rebel in each and every one of us. And you can't put a price on that. So this is very important. I think this is one of the most important parts of the entire email, because this is the ultimate benefit that people are looking for. They want to feel good about themselves. They want to look unique. They want to look bold. And they want to look cool. And by highlighting the features and benefits, that's one thing. That's good. But it's just one watch out of a dozen. But if you highlight that this particular watch is going to give them self-confidence and badass style and speak to the inner rebel inside of them, you really can't put a price on that, because for these people, these traits are the most important things. They want to associate themselves with these things. So by highlighting this, after building some desire, I kind of multiply the effect of desire building. And only then do I introduce the price. Check it out. You won't find such a badass watch with killer features like these anywhere else, especially for the mind-boggling price of only $489. So giving the price up front is going to create a huge shock in them. But giving the price after building all this desire is going to be much easier to swallow. So this was the offer part of the email. Once I'm done with the offer and I described all the features, benefits, and everything, I'm going to reinforce it with even more benefits. And you might be thinking, why do you need so many benefits? I mean, isn't this enough? And my answer is, maybe it's enough, but you really want to over-deliver in this part, because people want to feel like they're already living their ideal situation. They want to read something that paints the dream. They want to read about something that gives them solutions, that already future paces their success. So what better way to do this than to give them even more benefits and give them a bonus, because everybody loves bonuses. So I say, as an additional bonus, we also decided to toss in a free DLC coating. And if you don't know this, this is basically a more luxurious or special type of coating that people can apply to watch so that it becomes stealthy black. It's a really cool look, and it goes well with this bold style. And since we're offering this as a bonus, I think a lot of people will be knocked over the fence because of this. Then I go on to describe even more benefits. I promise to you, you've never seen an exclusive timepiece so eye-catching, so bold, so irresistibly dominating. A watch that expresses your masculine individuality, sets you apart from the rest, and becomes your loyal companion in your quest to make your unique style shine. Again, for these people, the most important thing is to stand out from the crowd. I mean, that's why they're rebels. That's why they're bold. They want this. And by describing and by purposefully, playing up these elements, they're going to salivate all over the watch at this point if they're rating this. So I go on to describe even more benefits here. And this is a nice quote, by the way. John Carlton, he's one of the most legendary copywriters ever. He's also called the most ripped off copywriter of all time. He said, "Be the one thing your prospect reads today that gets his blood pumping and makes him crave what you're selling. His adrenaline levels won't go down until he sent you money." So this is the goal here. You want to describe the ideal situation in such a profound way that people will become basically hypnotized by it. And just to check this out, for example, I know you'll be astonished by how crazy good this watch looks and feels on your wrist. Don't be surprised if your friends and family comment on how gorgeous and premium it looks. So again, I'm basically speaking to the reader as if they've purchased the watch already. And this is called future pacing. And this is very important in the converting process, in getting someone from the non-buyer state to the buyer state. So after I'm finally done with all the desire building, my job is still not done, unfortunately. And that's because people, even though if they're salivating on my offer, they're still not gonna buy. And that's because people don't like to make decisions, especially if they have to shell out $500. Even if they like it, they want to postpone it as long as possible. But the problem is that if they think, I'm gonna check this later, like tomorrow or something, do you think they will check it later? Not really. It almost never happens. They have to be very, very extremely committed to do that. And that's the reason why we need the fear of missing out and scarcity. And you don't have to overdo this. You don't have to lie. Especially you cannot lie in this because people will discover it and they will take your head for it. But check it out how I did it. However, let me be very clear about one thing. The Aquafin is strictly a limited edition exclusive watch. In fact, we only plan on manufacturing 350 pieces in total, and in 3 days our campaign is over. And once it's over for good. And let me tell you why we do this. So, first of all, I gave them a genuine scarcity. The campaign only has 3 more days to go, and we deliberately send this 3 days before the campaign ends. So that we create a little bit of extra squeeze here. And also, you might want to explain the reason for your scarcity whenever you can, because it seems more genuine, and it is. And you shouldn't really rip off people by giving them false scarcity. This is real scarcity here. And I also explain it. And let me tell you why we do this. Because bold people take action. And that's why this watch is only for the brave who take action and heed the call. Marching forward. We will probably never produce any more Aquafins after this, only the limited numbers for our selected backers. If at this point you are still hesitant, then perhaps it's okay to back down. People do it all the time. However, if you want a worthy companion to the rebel inside you, here's the chance. What are you going to do with it? Now, this part, it's very important and it has so many things going on here. I'm just gonna touch on them very briefly. But you can read the entire thing here if you want, because I go into much more detail inside this post. So first of all, we create the urgency. Then I explain the reason for the urgency. Then I expand on this reasoning and connect this to one of the core traits of being a rebel and of being a bold person who I know that my target audience wants to associate with. And this is taking action. Bold people and rebels take action. They don't hesitate. And by highlighting this, hopefully I'm also making a change in the brain of my reader in the sense that their inner boldness will come out. And they will say, okay, so if I'm bold, I have to act now because otherwise I'm not bold. But I want to be bold, so I kind of have to act now. This is one of the most effective ways to actually knock them off the fence. And yeah, if they're still not those people, then it doesn't really make sense to be aggressive. And that's why I say, if at this point you are still hesitant, then perhaps it's okay to back down. People do it all the time. So in this way, I mainly describe the majority of the population that I know that my target audience doesn't want to be a part of. They want to feel special. They want to be kings. They want to be bold people. They want to be heroes. But heroes act. They do something right now, not tomorrow. So that is why I say, however, if you want a worthy companion to the rebel inside you, here's your chance. And I kind of give basically a personality to the watch at this point. So I'm basically creating something like the bond between a samurai and his sword. The sword is the companion that accompanies the samurai on his journeys. And at the end, I close with the question, what are you going to do with it? Because questions work really well. What are you going to do about it? Are you going to do something? It makes people take action much more frequently. However, I'm still not done, because I still have to ask for the sale. Even if at this point people are hooked, you've built a lot of desire in them, they're afraid that they're going to miss out. They're still not going to buy unless you explicitly tell them to. So that's why the final part is about the call to action. So if you're interested in reserving your own personalized Aquafin, again, I'm creating more exclusivity, and unleashing its boldness on the world, you should probably do so now while you still can. And then I have the call to action link here, and I have two PSs. The first one just reinforces the benefits, because I know that these benefits are very, very important to my audience. Remember, you won't find such a badass watch with all these amazing features anywhere else. Get it today for only $489. And I also add another PS which highlights the scarcity, the urgency part of it, because I know that this is also important to knock them over the fence. So be sure to move fast, because there are only 3 days left from the campaign. After that, I don't think we'll do another batch ever. Once this set is gone, it's gone. Reserve your personalized Aquafin now. And that's it, basically. Remember that this call to action is very important to actually close the sale. Don't forget about it. But in order to get here, you have to go through the winning structure of the email. You have to go through all those elements that I showed you. And in fact, here they are, the structure. First, you need to interrupt them with an unexpected attention-grabbing subject line. Then you want to start with the compelling hook that connects with them emotionally. Then you want to transition between the hook and the offer, but be careful not to be forced here. Then you present the irresistible offer, listing the most desirable benefits. After that, you build even more desire. Then you add strategic and genuine. This is very important. Add genuine scarcity and a fear of missing out. And then close with an explicit, powerful call to action. That's it. So that's the structure. But in order for this to work, it's very important that you really know the pains, fears, hopes, and dreams of your audience, because as you might have noticed, this text is extremely targeted to one specific niche. It wouldn't work on mothers, for example. They wouldn't care at all, but it works wonders on people who are interested in watches, in nice Swiss watches. Secondly, you need to have this bulletproof structure, because otherwise the whole email is going to crumble. You want to grab attention, you want to elegantly guide them through your call to action, and also integrating a lot of psychological elements here, a lot of persuasion techniques and direct response copywriting techniques will make a huge difference. So you are able to actually write from the perspective of your reader. So if you want to learn more about this and how you can also apply this formula to write your own emails just like this one, then I have a nice online course that you might want to check out. It's called Rainmaker Email Mastery, and it will teach you how to craft elegantly persuasive emails just like this one that will get you higher clicks, opens, and ultimately more sales, and do it all in an afternoon. This program isn't drawn out, it's very targeted, strategic, and it's practical. So if you're interested in something like this, check it out. I'll leave a link below this video. I also have a cool resource that you can use to basically upgrade any email that you write from now on. It's called the Ultimate Email Checklist. And basically, this is a short 4-page checklist with everything that you need to do in order to transform your email for something that people ignore to something that people will be actually excited to receive. I'll also leave a link for this below. It's free, so check it out if you want. And that's it for this email case study. If you enjoyed this video, then make sure to leave a like below, and also feel free to subscribe if you want to get more videos such as this one. Also, If you would like to learn how to write and strategize a similar sales email, just like this one, then feel free to check out my online course on the topic, Rainmaker Email Mastery. I'll leave a link below. Check it out if you feel like this would help you. And now it's your turn. Which part of this case study did you enjoy the most? Was it the part about the hook? Or maybe the transition? Or maybe refining the offer? Let me know by leaving a quick comment below. Thank you for watching, and as always, see you in the next one.